Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Today we are going to talk about water, Amrit, the universal divine solvent created by nature with 10 protons to start the process of universal consciousness. This is one of the most important products which came after the creation of the universe, from before creation, during creation, and thereafter. And understanding water as a first molecule for each and everything is absolutely essential to realize the importance of water in our day-to-day life, in the universe, as well as whole consciousness. The binding factor is water, and we'll understand that concept as we proceed. Now, descent of nectar has been mentioned even in Rig Veda 1:23:19, and it says there is nectar in water and there is medicine in water. In other words, everything is associated with water only. If there is Amrit, that is water, and there is medicines, or all the life, including plant, animals and otherwise, starts from warm water or ocean, is something which is very clearly written in Rig Veda itself. Rig Veda itself believes it that jal or water is nectar. Same thing is reinforced in Brihad Anukya Upanishad of Maharishi Yajnavalkya 1:2:2. Apo va ark. Water is the essence, and everything comes from water only. This is reinforced even in Brihad Upanishad in the very first chapter itself. That shows how much importance is given to water in everything, and in my opinion, water is the first product with 2 hydrogens and 8 protons of oxygen to put 10 and prove that 10 stages of this. Second thing which is important in the whole process is Kamadhenu or methane, which has also 10 protons, carbon 6 and 4 hydrogen is that. And then next stage we will talk as we proceed. But here we are going to concentrate water as a nectar and its descent from universal consciousness down. Now, I am glad that I had understood the pleasure of going to Amarnath as a child. But at the same time, when we talk of Rig Veda, it is written very clearly the Indra, the king of God, is water and rain god. It makes it very clear. He is the king and he is Indra and he is water and rain god. That means with thunder, lightning and rain, all the essential elements which were created of the creation of the cosmos came down and fell on earth and then collected in the ocean as such. That's the most beautiful synchronization which I am trying to produce through this document, which is Mahagranth by and large. And my experience of going to Amarnath as a child and seeing shivling as such and seeing 2 pigeons which are immortal and learning about the legend of Amarnath story, and I think it has really changed me. This is the universal wisdom, impeccable wisdom we should know to be in tune with universal consciousness, in tune with our Antaratma, the soul, which knows everything in the entire universe. And that person who is connected with indwelling zone of helium, or Gayatri, which is neon, or Adi Prashakti, which is argon, or higher forms of Sat Nirgur Nirgun Brahman, or Sakar Sargun Brahman, all the 5 elements of inert matter, noble gases. You can know each and everything, the entire universe, and every human being is created as a Lokpalan, custodian and guardian, and all of us have the potential of seeing, provided Akash Kosh, the vibration is around 7.83 to 8.73. If we can produce a vibration in our brain with eyes open throughout the brain, with complete consciousness of all the 3 things, you can understand A to Z of the entire universe by self. And I have done that and given the world Divyang for the first time, and I am sure all of us can do it, provided first 7 years we learn everything from the external world from Atma only, the soul only. But unfortunately, we are given too much of information during the first 7 years, and then coming out of that is an impossible job. My request to everybody is for 8 years or 7 years, let the child's brain grow, develop. Let the person see the entire universe without being told what is right and wrong. Let the person flow with inner consciousness or indwelling soul. That person will know each and everything perfectly. If my life is an example, and I'm sure it can be done with everybody, and that is my conviction. Now, having seen Amarnath as a child, I understand the Tantra Vidya Vijnanam completely, and I have shown that there are not 7 chakras, but there are 10 chakras, and entire thing of Tantra Vidya has been cleared very clearly because of this particular experience of Amarnath, and that is immortality which I am talking about. Second thing, you can see Marthan Surya temple, where I had gone there in Marthan and seen a pond which had fish, which showed it to me all the vertical life started from fish only. And that is what Dasavatar is all about. The first is Matsya, is a fish. And that awareness came there, and from there I learned how from fish 10 stages of development of Lord Vishnu have come, Dasavatar, and each one has made me understand the significance of the nervous system and whole endocrine system, autonomic system, entire solar system, entire spiral galaxy. I understand integrated because I had the pleasure of seeing the beginning itself as a fish and was enamored with those fish. The way they were eating things is amazing. I think that knowledge has given me how to flow with nature with an open mind without being told what is right. At first 7 years, you are connected with only Atma, and Atma will give you the wisdom, and that is what I am trying to force in this particular process. Second thing, as I told you, I am talking for Akhand Bharat, and I also call it Akhand Sindhu. Sindhu is very worshipable. Bharat, Hindu, Indus, everything comes from there. It is on the east is controlled by Himalayas, Mansarovar and Mount Kailash, and north is by Sindhu River in Ladakh, and then the western boundary of Sindhu going into Sub-Sindhu into Arabian Sea are the northern, eastern, northern and western parts. And as far as south is concerned, is the Sindhu Mahasagar which binds the land, and this is the land which is connected with the unity of universal consciousness from the very beginning. This is a land where Vedas were written, where Upanishads were written, where the divine mathematics was given for the first time to the world. And recalculation of giving Divyank for the first time in 2015 also has happened only from this land. No one, anyone other than person from this land connected with this Brahmanism has been able to do that, and being done for the first time in the history of mankind. But it can change the entire education completely without even single defect. As on today, I do know the mathematics which world is using is man-made concept, and there are too many deficiencies. If technically things we have, let's forget about it. When we are talking about the impeccable wisdom, is not there in man-made mathematics, not in the physics, not in the chemistry. There is so many defects. We need to correct all those defects. With Divyank, we'll have 1,000 times better wisdom thereafter for the entire universe to talk about impeccable wisdom for every child, every student, every teacher, every research scholar, every author through the world to have uniform knowledge. Only then everybody will be united and there could be world peace. If we want world peace, we have to have impeccable wisdom of Divyank, and with that give the knowledge to every child throughout the world. And this is the process which I have started. Let me do my bit, and I'm sure like-minded people who realize Divyank is the answer, they will do research again in maths, physics, chemistry and other subjects and reinforce the wisdom which the world needs it. We should unite the world with the Satya Yuga, era of truth for everyone. Only then there can be world peace. We do not want to divide the world into unwanted characters and having things which are not right. We need impeccable wisdom, that is the way, and that is what comes from Akhand Sindhu or Akhand Bharat by and large. Now come to the question, as I've been saying very clearly, my mission of life, my vision of life, my objective of life is impeccable wisdom, knowing which everything is perfectly known. We do not want a knowledge which can be found defective. That's one. And my greatest discovery, as I've been saying again and again, is Devyant, the divine design of nature, with which all the perfect objects of the universe are created, designed, and done. Nothing other than it is acceptable to me, and I am glad I had the pleasure of flowing with the nature to the utmost, that I understand A to Z of everything within my own experience. As a result, I can produce 8 Hz frequency throughout the brain for the first time in the history of mankind, give Devyang for the first time, and giving impeccable for the first time. I think this is the starting point for new research, new education, and then the world could be a very peaceful place. We can come back to Satya Yug, the era of truth, honesty, integrity, otherwise. We need the world to unite so that we can take care of the world as a peaceful place. We do not want anything to be divided and things like that. Now the question that I'm going to talk about few statements which have made a change in my life. Since I'm talking a new Granth, Mahagranth, what was there, what is the ideal person, what is the ideal education, what was there before the creation, what happened during the creation, what happened thereafter. There are certain things which have helped me to come to this level, and one first advice. As a child, during 7 years, I came to realize the Holy Gita has got really karmanye vadikaste ma phaleshu kadachan. That means do your karma to the best of ability without worrying about the fruits. But your work should be so beautiful, so perfect, that you will be in tune with universal consciousness. This is what I realized as a child. And from that time, Karma Yoga, action, became my first Karam Param Dharma. So I have been very conscientious worker since my childhood. And at the same time, second thing which Ayurveda talks about, Dharma, Arth, Kam, Moksha, which I have translated to Dharma, Karma, Pagyan, Akhandata. And same thing I have seen in Katha Upanishad talking of two souls. And I do say physical body is like one Jivatma, whereas Arjun in this particular picture I call Antaratma or helium-4. And as far as Krishna is concerned, I call him universal consciousness, maybe Gayatri on one side, Adi Parashakti on one side, maybe Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and also the universal consciousness. He represents all the divine consciousness. So, physical of human body, Antaratma and universal consciousness, all that what Katha Upanishad is talking about, this particular picture is, once you are in tune with that, entire wisdom of impeccable wisdom of the world will be at your fingertips. And that is the knowledge which I want the world to understand and move on. And that has also made me give the world a new philosophy, Tret Paravidya, where Jivatma is one, Antaratma is the second, and Paramatma, the universal consciousness, third one. And when all the three are within you, in tune with it, there is nothing beyond your comprehension. Which is perfect will be known to you. Imperfect, which does not fit into Devyank, Akhandata, is imperfect, that's enough. Once you know the perfection, imperfection is not a problem. Relativity is a problem with relativity. But relativity can be understood with absolute wisdom or impeccable wisdom only. That is what I realized as a child of 7 years itself. No wonder from that my academic education has been exemplary every stage. And that's it. Now, second thing which I learnt in school in Katra, which has changed me completely, is Vidya Dadati Vinyat Jati Patratam Patratam Che Dana Utpati Dhan Dharam Tatha Sukham. That means right education or Vidya, the impeccable wisdom, gives you humility. Where there is a humility, you make no differences. For everybody is equal because you see Atma in everybody. When people with their abilities put together and work together, there will be plenty of dhan, utpati, production, abundance of wealth for everybody. Where there is a wealth, there is dharma. Where is the dharma, there is sukh for everybody. If you want the sukh for the entire world, we should have impeccable wisdom of Akhand Vidya, which I have already talked about it. I have also talked to Akhand Purusha. That's what my experience is. Akhand Vidya is the knowledge which I have experienced. And that's it. And similarly, the down part shows that you should have selfless actions. You should not have any objective of any particular thing that you are working for name, fame, money, other things. Those things will automatically come. Once you are with Saraswati, wisdom, Lakshmi will automatically come. So will Ganesh come. So with all the goddess and goddesses will come because you are moving with impeccable wisdom. And that should be selfless action will take you to the level which is unheard otherwise. And that is something you got to realize within first 7 years of life itself. Next thing which came very clearly to me is a statement which comes from Sanatana Dharma and I call Vidya Dhan. Giving education is greatest dhan you can sharing it. But this also I found in one statement in Katra school when I was a child. सरस्वती के भंडार में बड़ी अपूर्व बात जू जू खर्चे त्यू त्यू बड़े बिन खर्चे घटिया. That means more and more we share the knowledge, more and more the knowledge grows in multiple folds. When we fail to share the wisdom, the knowledge evaporates and disappears in due course of time. This is something I realized as a child. As a result, whatever I realized, I taught it to every classmate of mine, every senior, every junior, just for love of it, that I found it interesting, logical, and I went on sharing. But unfortunately, these days I find people are not prepared to even answer somebody's question, even if they know it. They want to hide things. No, this is my wisdom, I should have. I just don't understand. What is my wisdom? We got it from others. We know it. We find the impeccable wisdom. Let's share with the impeccable wisdom and improve. And if I'm able to produce 8 hertz throughout the brain is primarily because my entire brain is filled with impeccable wisdom of all the 64 arts. For me, all the 64 arts are important. And giving knowledge of all the 64 parts has given me the wisdom which I'm talking about. And that's it. Then I'm coming to a very important question when it comes to genuine research. I have a PhD, I have done research, and I'm qualified, and my research was all highly commendable way back in 2001 itself when getting impeccable, highly commendable title in PhD in science was unheard of or very, very rare. But I want to make one thing very clear as far as genuine research is concerned. We should do research only on the subject which we have an experience within our body. I am not talking of the technical subjects. Let's forget about that. I am talking about human body. If we want to talk of impeccable wisdom for the human body, we should have an experience of Antaratma, our indwelling soul within ourselves, and then have the experience and then see the translation and transformation and the wisdom. That genuine research can give you the, and this is what my PhD work is, experience, and I realize much more than any of the book I ever given. And taken with Divyank at the same time because research was based on my personal experience, not something which I heard. All the work which I am talking about is from my experiences, my conviction, my references, not a copy of anything else. Maybe as genuine, that similarity or plagiarism here is literally zero all through my life. And that should be researched if you want to work thereafter. Now the conversion comes to the question is, the language of divine nature is mathematics, the conclusion of the perfect object is mathematics, the conclusive mathematical you design, and that is what Divyank. Then next stage I am talking about that all the mathematical design should be converted into symbolic form, which India did it earlier. And this is the transformation of mathematical design of 22 by 21, which is outer orbit are 22, then 10 pentagons are 10 stage development, and 5 white are 3, 4, 4, 1, 9. And that's the beauty. And all the wisdom of the entire universe is there within this. And that is what I want to convert find the mathematical, then convert to this and prove with evidence which cannot be denied by anybody else. That is the impeccable wisdom I am talking about with respect to this particular work of Mahagranth, from step 1 to the complete laying a foundation for new research for generations to come, which will be centered on Devyank. And I can tell you, maths will change, physics will change, chemistry will change, biology will change, and you will have the perfect knowledge, and giving that knowledge to every child from beginning to the end should be uniform throughout the world. No differences. Today we have knowledge, different things given by different people which are confusing the world, and I want knowledge which is without any confusion. This is single-handed objective of creating impeccable wisdom. Is important that world has something of this class hereafter. That's it. Now, as I told you, the whole creation of the universe started from Atma. This is primate divine course. Before creation, there was only Atma in the world. Now let's understand what Atma is talked about by Sanatana Dharma. It says Atma cannot be cut, cannot be burnt, cannot be dissolved, it is indestructible, insoluble, integrated, indistinguishable, inexhaustible, and eternal. That is the quality of Atma which Sanatana Dharma talks about it. That is what Akhand Bharat talks about it. And then everything comes from it, everything is sustained by it, everything dissolved into Atma. That means before the creation it was Atma, during creation it is Atma, and it comes back to Atma once again, and that Atma centers around on Devyank only. That's the most beautiful. And I do believe that the whole thing is inert dark matter, noble gases of helium, neon, argon, krypton, and xenon, etc. And this is what has made me understand if the Atma's concept of Akhand Bharat is up, then description in matter, it is inert matter, not anything which is abstract. That is something which I want to make it very clear. Atma is inert matter, not something abstract, not something which people have given the knowledge. I do believe they have said something which is immaterial, which is not true. It is a material. People can see it, can experience it. I know I have experienced that within my body, and I know it is almost like a 22 grams within my body. The way it moves within is able to give me the kind of knowledge automatically, because it is knows everything. It is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, other thing. But once you can see it, it can answer, you can listen to that, and then you are in tune with universal consciousness. That is the first stage of Atma which I am talking about. Then I have told you very clearly, it was 2015 that first time I realized that the whole universe, a spiral galaxy, to the solar system, to the human body, right up to sodium and chloride thing, centers only on Devyank, and its origin was from isomers of neon 21, which united to form isomers of 22. Then there was light, there was enlightenment, and then everything appeared thereafter from that. This is what something which I am able to understand and make sense with the help of Devyank by and large. Now show the statement that before the creation it was darkness, andhakar, mrityu, etc. And that is something which I can definitely say, if it is, you say, neon 21 has got 10 electrons, 10 protons, and 11 neutrons. And when the structure is there, outer orbits are complete, nothing is going out. It is not in a, isometric or ionic form. It is a stable. And neutrons and protons inside a center, and electrons are focused toward that. The structure is like cubicles, and there will be light inside and darkness outside. Is something was very clear to me from science as well as spirituality, because both I had seen it. And that same picture is given in Goddess Gayatri, is very clear. Now comes the question of, as far as mathematical design is concerned, I am very clear, before the creation it was Shunya, and that was Atma, and that was a dot, and everything is dot. In other words, entire mathematics starts from zero only, the shunya only, the emptiness, the dot. And all the 9 numbers came from zero. Not zero was declared or invented by Aryabhatta later. No. Indian Akhand Bharat knew very well that starting of mathematics is from shunya, zero, cipher, and that's it. That is something which I am making it clear. All the numbers have come only from zero, not before that. This did not come later. And India had no difficulty in understanding that. That is, even different stages of 1, 10, 100, 1000, etc. was known to Indian from the very beginning itself. We had the mathematics the highest order in Veds and Upanishads of the class which you cannot even heard of. The world had not seen about it. But unfortunately, vested interests of the people have enforced stupid ideas to the world and confused the whole world. And I want to really rectify that and show zero is the first mathematical concept from which everything has come. I have already explained from dot to circle to sphere is where life starts, and all the 9 numbers come out of that. I have already done in earlier. We will do it later as we move on. Now, another concept which is very clear, the infinity and zero, was written by Maharishi Jajnavalkya way back in Brihadaranyaka. Purnam adha purnam idham purnay purnam udeshyate. That means that is full, this is full, and from fullness proceeds fullness. That's a beautiful statement. And if we take away fullness from fullness, fullness always remains. There is so much impeccable wisdom put in this, but I wonder whether somebody has explained the real beauty of this, although this slok I have heard since my childhood again and again and again. But all the answers are given is something, it's great. What is the greatness in mathematical design? I have never heard anybody saying. Now I am going to do that because I do believe if we want to be in tune with universal consciousness, if we want to be honest about it, you have to be mathematically conclusive. And the mathematical conclusion is Devyank. Now from Devyank point of view, let's talk about it, how I find this particular shlok. Now I have explained that Purnam is zero. If you take Purnam out of Purnam or zero by zero, you will have his answer only zero. Not like other numbers, 1 divided by 1 is equivalent to 1, 9 by 9 is equivalent to 1, but 0 by 0 is not 1, and that is what I have already explained. And similarly, how this particular shlok was, the particular chakra was done, go back to the last one, you will find how beautiful was the whole process of understanding divine mathematics completely one by one. If it does not surprise you, I will be surprised. And in this particular thing, you can see that center part has 10 rays of sun, and that is what Gayatri Mantra is. That is God is Gayatri. And you can see with the Tatri and Gayatri, everything in this particular symbol. Entire symbolic language of Akhand Bharat, Akhand Sindhu is there in this particular symbol. Then now during the creation, as I said very clearly, it was a Big Bang theory which I agree with the West. But it started with isomers in neon 21 and they collided to form isomers in neon 22, and there was brilliant effulgence, the light energy. This is very different from the scientific research of spending millions and trillions of money to find the God particle is defective because that is not at all based on neon 21. I am sure if they had taken the isomers neon 21, collided, they would have found 22, and then the entire thing, the universe was created, would have been very, very simple. But they can still do it, I am sure about it. But this is the knowledge which is there. Now, as I told you very beginning, before the creation, what was there, even gods do not know. But after that, the gods were created by Adi Prashakti, first Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. 3 concepts. Brahma stands the first stage of creation, Vishnu the 10th stage of development, and Shiva as the Panchabhutas, the last stage of maturation. Now, Brahma was the first one who created the universe from neon 21. And it is said in Akhand Bharat that after creating universe, he took rest for 1.5 years. This was one statement which I learnt as a child in Katra when I was not even 7 years. But today, when I look at it, is this a statement, impeccable wisdom, or it is only a mythology or concept? But I do know as a medical doctor, sperm and ovum get together to form zygote, and which create a new life. And after zygote is formed, it takes rest for 1.5 days before multiple divisions start taking place in dichotomous divisions. Ovum, sperm put together become zygote as one piece. To become two, it takes 1.5 days. So it shows that statement and this statement is identical. That is what I am trying to see with the scientific evidence which cannot be denied by anybody. Now come to the question that the first stage of creation, entire world is done, is Akash Bhuta from light. And that is the light which I would call it the stage of energy. And I have given a symbol of Akash was circle, a zero has already been done. But as come to the Akash Bhuta was not given the symbol till then. I have given it the symbol for the first time as a pentagon with energy of 540 degrees. And all the 5 are 108. 108 into 5 is this. And that is the reason 108 is considered very, very important. And I see the beauty of 108 in krypton, where you have protons and neutrons 108 and electrons 54. Same thing is repeated in Adi Prashakti is argon, when you have 36 electrons, 36 protons and 36 neutrons as 108. Is it a coincidence? No, it's a divine design. And when I see the sun, the diameter of sun is equivalent to 108 Earths itself. Amazing. Similarly, when I see the distance between Earth and Moon is equivalent to 108 moons. It is a coincidence? No, this is a divine design. And that is what I am trying to show to the world, that everything which Sanatana Dharma has spoken about it, or Akhand Sindhu is talking about, is totally of the impeccable wisdom, which is divine design. It is not something in man-made. I am not trying to talk of something which I do not find evidence. When I have an experience, I find the evidence is what I am writing about. If I don't find the evidence, I would rather keep quiet. Because that will not be the impeccable wisdom which I am talking about. Since I am talking about impeccable wisdom, it should have a mathematical conclusion and symbolic representation. That is what this is, first thing. Then come to the next stage is Vayu Bhuta, and it is hexagonal shape. And as this particular picture makes it very clear, on the earth, in a valley, you can see the land down, you see water, you see mountains on either side. The structure is created at the lower part of the crescent. And then earth is also spherical. Within two spherical, you see a shape which is elliptical in shape or hexagonal in that. And that is the ideal symbol for Vayu Bhuta. And I am also very happy that benzene ring was done by Auguste Capulet by seeing a snake biting its own tail in the dream. And as a result, he created a benzene ring with 6 carbons together, and that is where glucose structure or fructose structure or benzene ring came up. And that's the most beautiful part of universal consciousness, how a symbolic representation is important. Now science also uses symbolic the way Akhand Bharat has done it. It is not defect as the greatest wisdom of highest order. Now comes to the third stage of Agni Bhuta, the triangle. There are 2 types of triangles. The one going up, I call it Shakta triangle. As you can see in this particular picture, is going up, and that leads to evolution. Of going up to higher levels, revolution to evolution is through 3 triangle. Involution is the opposite side, and that is what I have shown in Agar Vidya also. When it's moving up is a male Shakta, when going down is a female Shakti. That's it. But here I am making it very clear, Agni Bhuta is associated with oxygen. If Aditya, the sun, is hydrogen, indwelling soul, Aditi, is helium. And as far as Agni is concerned, it is oxygen. And oxygen cannot exist without oxygen at all. Fire is there, as long as oxygen is there. When oxygen is gone, fire will go away. That is something which I am talking about. So no wonder Rigved's maximum concentration is Agni Bhuta only. Shows why it is important, because adding heat or Agni, it will give you a revolution. Reducing Agni is going to make you immobile. Satvika is with energy, Rajasic with energy, Tamasic is without energy. And that is beauty of this as a center part. You increase it, you go up. You reduce it, you become immobile, tamasic, and fall in the process. You want to rise, you have to have more heat. And that is what tapasya is all about. And I associate with thyroid gland as the one which produces more of heat, and that is connected with Lord Shiva, and that is what you're going to see as we proceed. You have already shown in other thing. So energy, heat makes very, whether you're in ATP form or heat as such, is this particular concept. Then comes to the question of apabhuta, the water element, which is crescent. You can see all the water stored on the earth. If you say ocean, river, stream, lake, you have a land down, you can see it. And then you have water which is almost like a parallel, except in the corner where your capillary action slightly goes up. And that shows this how beautiful was the structure done on that. So I have given a new structure of Akash Bhuta as a pentagon, which was not done by anybody else, because I know it is an important part, it should be done. Now come to the next stage. Fifth statement is the Prithvi Bhuta, is given square form, not a circle. Everybody knows Earth was found to be round. That's why it's called Bhu-Gol. Round, Bhu is Gol, is spherical. But when come to the question of giving symbol as a goal or spherical or zero, it was not done basically because it's been given to Akash, because expand has expansion and it is like a circular one. So it cannot be done for two. So they converted that into this. Then I asked my Atma the question, how did you set, how did this come? What was done to justify that it is symbolic representation of sphere only? And then I was explained, you take a sphere as you can see on top, put 4 equal dots, convert into 4 triangles, 4 into 960 degrees, then put a center dot and put a pin there and revolve this particular square. The faster it goes from 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, then it's like that. And the stage will come when the whole thing will look spherical. That's a wonderful idea. That is applied science, symbolic language, and that is amazing. At the same time, I know the water concentration is 61.8034, which I have talked about last, and concentration of water to solid is 38.1966%, and that is amazing. The only difference you can see in this is Earth, water have 360 degrees. Vayu also have 360 degrees. Agni has got 180. But Akash Bhuta has 180 plus 360 because energy is added to that to make it more subtle. That's it. And I can call in the modern science realizing that you have a plasmatic state of the matter and which can be created for 1600 degrees centigrade, and you will have only energy from which source come, it does not come, I have already explained. But inside the sun, it is 6000 square, where hydrogen is converted to helium, helium is converted to hydrogen with 6000 degrees. But plasmatic state is thus 1600 degrees itself. And that is the kind of science which I want. And the structure of electrons to protons is also well defined to almost 1800 and odd. It is a perfect value. That's it. Now the question comes to the next stage, that entire knowledge of Veds, Rig Ved, is into periodic table. But there are two things which I want to explain this. When things came from up, down, they are represented, as you can see on the left side, red one. There are periods which are only 7 in number. That means 7 is very occult number. Even periodic table you can see it. And earth is made of 7, Antriksh is made of 7, heavens are 7, There are 7 colors of vigor. There are 7 horses of Surya, and also 7 days. Everything is 7 7. So here also you see 7. That's one part, very clear. But on the other side, you can see there are 18 groups. It did not talk about any other number other than 18. And that is what Adi Prashakti is, from which everything is created. Adi Prashakti is a structure with 18 protons, 18 electrons, and 18 neutrons to start with. And that's got 18 arms. And she's the one who created further Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. She's the goddess creation who gave birth to Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, 3 concepts, and from there Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, and that's how the mathematics started from there. And that you can see beautifully in this particular thing. Isn't it amazing that modern science thing, which are not knowing anything about divine mathematics, have shown it, and I'm using that to prove it, how beautiful is modern science concepts and Divyank together as the world's wisdom. Now coming to the question of something which I call divine periodic table, and I'm making it very clear that 1 leads to 3. If Adi Prashakti is the mother, the 3 children are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And this trinity, in other concept I can talk about it. Hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen are the 3 concepts which make like Surya, biology, and Agni. And first inner soul is helium-4. I have already explained. It is produced in the sun, and this is Aditi. Then first 3 inorganic molecules which are very, very important to start the whole creation. First, let me say water is with 10 protons. Second thing is methane, which I would connect it with methane gas, which comes from Kamadhenu. That would be the next stage. But water is this. And third thing which is important, first inorganic, is carbon dioxide, and it has got 22 protons. It is again with Divyank only. Methane and water, 10 stages of development, or carbon is the first stage of Divyank itself. And after that what happens, you're going to see divine mathematics. You'll be surprised at every stage there's so much of precision by and large. And that is what is required, is going to make every child enjoy wisdom from the day one. Because they are not enjoying, because nobody is trying to explain them entertainment. But if you make the subject entertaining, holistic, and as we go on more entertainment, the wisdom will be there for everybody. That's it. Now let's understand one by one the concept. The first greatest element, as I say, is hydrogen, and I call it Aditya, I call it sun. The first element of the nature is helium-4 is in the sun, and let's talk of only hydrogen first. 75% of bionic mass is hydrogen. Maximum abundant is hydrogen in the universe, and it contains 1 proton, 1 electron, and most is a divine nature, and it can form covalent compounds with everything. Hydrogen is most versatile, with most non-metallic material, and most things convert as a molecular form, and also is a part of acid-base balance. When hydrogen plus is acidic, OH is alkaline. That is the beauty of, as far as hydrogen is concerned. The first one, which I am going to talk about, water, is a part of water. Second thing, as I told you, the helium is formed in the sun from 6000 degrees in the core. That's the concept is very clear. I have already spoken earlier. We will not go into that part because it's not a part of water. But third greatest element is oxygen. First is hydrogen, second is helium, third is oxygen. So one which is going to form the first molecule, helium cannot form a molecule because it's itself a molecule. It's a complete by itself. But other you can form a molecule which is stable, has to be hydrogen plus oxygen as water, and that gets it 10 protons. Whereas neon has got 10 already. That's stable. That's it. But this forms third concentration in the world, And even diatomic oxygen atmosphere is 21%, which is very close to Deviant itself. And then ATP has a maximum amount of ATP, and so are survival of all the things. But here I will also bring fatty acids produce 2.25 times more energy than carbon and protein. And basically because fatty acids have less oxygen, and through beta oxidation we put acid, you get ATP 2.25 times more than others. And that is something which I have already explained. That's also same mathematical design. Now there comes the question of forming the molecule. Hydrogen plus oxygen. 2 of hydrogen, 1 of oxygen put together become water. You can see very clearly on top 1 hydrogen which has got 8, 2 hydrogens one side plus oxygen put together become water. You can see the structure closely held together. So most first divine solvent of the nature is water. It's the most abundant in organic matter, number 1. This is the first thing which was created. With everything came down with that, I've already explained. And everything centers around it. Entire life is possible only because of water. Without water, there is no life at all. That is something which I've already explained. And Earth contains 61.8% water. Human body contains, so the cells. If you maintain that, you can converse aging also as we go. The power of water is 10 proton, I have already told you. It can exist in all the 5 states of matter. It is there in Akash Bhuta, it is there in Vayu Bhuta, it is there in Agni Bhuta, it is there in Jal, and it is also in Bhumi or Prithvi. And it has the maximum molar polarity for stability. Heat capacity is temperature to maintain temperature control. Chemical reactivity is the highest of nature. Excellent carrier capacity for body solutions. High surface tension due to polarity, and excellent acid-base balance, all center around water, water and water alone. The quality is, no wonder this was the first thing which nature designed for the entire world to be projected as such. You can imagine what importance was given to water by divine nature from the very beginning itself. As this particular statement I have already shown, this is just a repetition. We'll go on to the further one as such. Now, there was a descent of higher consciousness to south consciousness, which we have spoken about it. As I told you, everything was created in the universe, and then with the rain god it came down to the earth, and then all got collected into primordial ocean, or Mahagranth you can call it, or you can call it Sindhu Mahasagar, and all the 7. And again, when it comes to the Sagar, ocean, there are only 7 oceans. Is it a coincidence? No, because design is like that. Nature has a design and then done things so beautifully. Unfortunately, we are no more fond of nature, and in the name of science, people take pride that they don't see divinity at all. Whereas I have seen perfect only from divinity. Spirituality has made me bring science to spiritual science. And I think we should be clear, the creator who was created, not by me or anybody, is by divine nature. Unless until we understand that, we will not be able to understand impeccable wisdom at all. And this particular concept is very clear. Everything has come from up, down, and that's what it is. Now, as I told you, the descent element from Rig Veda says 33 crore devtas. Many people have given 33 different, I'm not getting into that. I do believe 33 crore Devis and Devtas are different atoms, elements and molecules and other things which Rig Veda is talking about. And from A to Z they came down from up, down, and they form all the divine nature, all the combination. I'm not talking about atoms alone. I'm talking about elements, molecules, compounds, cells and different possibilities you see throughout the world. And I will not be surprised if all together we put together, they could be 33 crore Devas and Devis as such. But let's not do it now. We will do it at later once we finish our Divyank part completely. Now, as I've been claiming very clearly, the human body is nothing but atoms, element, molecule, compounds, cells and 10 tissues. And we are microcosmic representations of macrocosmic universe is my statement based on what I've seen in Veds, Upanishads, and modern science understanding by and large. We can be a bunch of atoms, elements, molecules, compounds, cells, and tissues. That's it. Now it comes to question of descent of element. As I told you, Indra, the king of God, is the water and rain god. He is the one who brought down again. Everything came along with the water. As I told you, Rigved says it is an essence. So Upanishads. If water essence is the one thing, so everything had to come down. So even the king had to be associated with water only. And rain god. With thunder, lightning and rain, all the essential elements came down from the cosmos to the ocean, from which life started thereafter. That is the continuity. We should have the knowledge of whole thing for everybody in full detail. No wonder my videos are becoming longer and longer, because each is a concept by itself. All the things important from A to Z on that concept, I tried my level best. Maybe over a period, if something more to be done, we'll make a new video longer than that and make the concept move on till we find impeccable wisdom for every child one by one. Then comes to the next question. All the biological life started in the warm waters of oceans only. Unicellular organisms, the first one which came, like E. coli, let's say, and everything came from the ocean, warm water like glucose, sodium, water, etc. And everything was expelled into that, and that is how it started. But today we have become multinational thing. We can't go to the ocean for our requirement as an expulsion. So ocean was brought in the form of extra interstitial fluid or extracellular fluid, and concentration was exactly what used to be in the primordial ocean to start with. And that is also something we should talk about it. And the process of rising element in the Sagar Manthan from ocean is also in the same direction, because it's like a beautiful wisdom again. And from that point of view, this Amrit as a part is from primordial ocean itself. The first thing, now I am going to talk about that. Now comes to the Sagar Manthan. Is the churning of primordial ocean. Everything has come from up down into the earth. And when having got everything, then all the gods and goddesses, demons and everything wanted to get Amrit, water from the ocean. They knew very well, ocean has the Amrit. And once they take Amrit, they will be immortal. But how far they knew it, I have no idea. But as I understand, I'm going to explain that concept. In my experience, the role of water as the Amrit. They tied a snake around and started churning. And there are a lot of things which came out have been explained. But let's see what are the main things which have been spoken about. In this picture you can see, this is an ancient picture, you can see the churning. And one of the thing is Amrit, you can see on the right side in the middle portion. Next to bow and arrow and the tree and Apsara in between is Amrit. And that is what in the water. That means it has got the power to make you alive, very vibrant, any power. And that is what I am going to explain to show why Amrit is water, water and water alone, and purest water without any impurity of any nature. As you see, Amrit as nectar, Atma as pure, without color. So is the pure water without color, without any characteristics, with all the things which is equivalent to Atma itself, the soul itself. That's the beauty. Now they come to the question of another story to reinforce. Taking from earth water and immortal water is one part, which is one of the things from churning of ocean. But there is another story which Akhand Bharat talks about, Akhand Sindhu talks about, is descent to Akash Ganga. And there is a story that King Sagar, the great grandfather of Buddha, the king of Ayodhya, was defeated in battle by Indra, the king of lords. King of God, Indra had defeated his army of King Sagar, who was the king of Ayodhya, who was the great grandfather of King Bhagirath. And as a result, all those people were put in a suspended animation in so-called Patal Lok, or the nether world, which is the dehydrated salinated condition. And nobody could revive the unconsciousness. And then king was advised to ask goddess Akash Ganga to come down to earth and revive the unconscious people. This is a statement which is very clear, it's not my copy. Somehow the three generations of King Sagra failed to bring goddess Akash Ganga down. Finally, Bhagirath, with his penance, succeeded in persuading goddess Akash Ganga to come down to earth. And meantime, goddess Akash Ganga made it very clear to King, please ask Lord Shiva to hold me in his matted hair and release only part of it by and large, not the entire thing. If everything falls, the earth will be destroyed. I don't want to destroy it, which has happened earlier. And the revival was done by Varaha Avatar is also very clear. Let's not go into that part. But done. Then when it comes and Lord Shiva releases that, and there is thing which I am going to talk about it as a subsequent part of the story. Now this particular picture of King Bhagirath is from Mahabalipuram near Chennai cave temple. It shows how he was doing penance and how Ganga was coming down. That's a beautiful part. The second thing in this particular picture, I do not know who's the artist, but this is there in internet. You can see Ganga coming down and Lord Shiva waiting with the hair looking at her. Meanwhile Parvati and Nandi is also looking and Bhagirath is also looking. That shows the story is well established as a symbolic representation by the greatest of artists itself. Same story in the symbolic form was given like that. Now I am going to show another story by another artist. You can see Ganga is coming down to the head. But in this particular picture, you can see water is falling on the both sides of his body. That means it shows the Shivling is like a Shiva's body and water is put on that. And we go to Shiva temples. In North actually I have seen my mother doing it. I have doing it. I have seen many people doing it. You have water being put on Shivling by and large. That shows the Shivling itself has a lot of energy. And you need water to keep it cool. Or it is talking about Akash Ganga being given to Shiva as such is a symbolic representation. I have seen those things as a child of 7 years. I understand, appreciate is much better today than I would have recognized that stage, because to understand empirical wisdom also, unless until you have knowledge from A to Z completely of 64 arts, it's difficult to understand concept. Having been realized, now I'm sharing the world so that people will know they can build on it later. So this is one thing which I realized, the beauty of Shivling as 11 by 7 on the earth, 11 by 7 inside, or 20/22 at the pi on the whole of Shivling. Is also I have spoken about it. That's it. But now I'm going to show a picture which I designed way back in 1992. But in this particular picture, I talked about Shiv and Shakti. And when I talk about Shiv, it's 38.1, and when you shout Shakti or Parvati, it is 61.8034. That's the reason I had put the face of a female rather than the male in this particular concept. Shows that female has more percentage than the male. But there is one more significant part. Normally when you see Shiva's water falling from the head, it is invariably, if I take this picture, it should be right side of me. But in this you can see in the left side. What should have been the east, like Ganga goes from the east. But here I have put on the right side. That means there is something different which I wanted to talk to the world. And that is what I talk about it, is Lord Shiva stage in Mansarovar lake next to Kailash Parvat, and Sindhu river starts from there only. So I am talking about here is Sindhu river, which is the demarcation from the east in the Himalayas, and going up to north again Sindhu, then going to the west as Sapta Sindhu and relating. You can see as the light is falling at the bottom, you can see more and more, start from 1 and becoming 7. What a symbolic representation of showing beauty as such. And this is east, north, and the west is represented by Sindhu alone. And that is, I think, 32 years ago. And I had no idea into spirituality other than just one experience. But this was intuitive knowledge given by Antaratma, and that's it. And I am now to take this very much conceptual part that Sindhu is right from the east, Himalayas, Kailash, Mansarovar, to the north to Ladakh, and then going to the west to demarcate as the upper part. But Ganga, I have shown, comes from Uttaranchal. That is from Vishuddhi Chakra. When comes out, that is one which literally releases the people. So Ganga is from Gangotri in Uttaranchal, which is Vishuddhi Chakra, whereas Sindhu is from Sahasrara Chakra, right on top, which goes from east to up to the west as upper boundary of Sahasrara Chakra, and Vishuddhi Chakra giving to Ganga and then becoming the flowing to the east. No wonder other people show towards going to the east, where I am showing to the west. That is also knowledge which this symbol of mine made me realize actually how beautiful is symbolic language. Then come to the question, let's now understand why pure water is Amrit. And it should be neutral, 7 only. And this has got polar bonds and high surface tension. As a result, even spider can walk on water because surface tension. And how this is done is the picture shown very clearly. And it has got a quality. And as far as surface tension is concerned, bonds are concerned, are pH and hydrogen. Same HOH. When hydrogen is an atom, is a material. When it gives the electron to the other side, it becomes a positive, it becomes acidic. Similarly, OH, when it takes one atom, it becomes alkaline. And that's the beauty, science which I want people to understand, how atom is converted into ionic form, whether it's a positive or a negative. And that water is a beautiful example to show that if it is acidic is H plus, if it is basic is OH negative only. And both H, OH is water, and that is the best way to solution of acidity is drink water regularly, rehydration, and you will be much better off. That's it. Now the question of coming to the homeostasis is important, because if you want to be perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy, you should be in a homeostatic state, a perfect equilibrium 20 watt. And this is where the water plays very important role to keep us totally humiliated, or perfect equilibrium, or in a perfect state of homeostasis. That's it. Now the balance of the external internal world after 100 trillion cell is important to keep us normal within physiological limits, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry and psychology. Once that is done, we will be perfectly normal. Now the mechanisms of negative feedback and positive feedback, that's the thing. And negative is cause and effects are in the opposite direction, and in positive both are in the same direction. Then most of the things which go with the negative feedback mechanism center around water by and large. Let's see that. Now, as you can see, the first thing which I have talked about, 10 variants of homeostasis, is water, which is 61.8034%. Blood volume is 5 liters, again water. Sugar 111 is again 100 ml of water, normal. Normal electrolytes of the water. Normal blood hormones are in the water, they all move with the water. Mean arterial blood pressure is also 93, and water has a concentration. If it is dehydrated, you will have difference in mean arterial blood pressure. In dehydrated state, systolic will come down, but diastolic will go up. Maintain to that. But when you drink more water, systolic will go up and diastolic will come down. Maintain that mean arterial blood pressure. Similarly, partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide is also again with the water, and so is the perfect balance of 7.4, and the body temperature by and large all center around water, water and water. For perfect homeostasis, one thing which plays very important role is the water. Now coming to the human body, as I told you, the earth has to have a water of 61.8% remaining solid. Similarly, the human body also the same story. But in the water component inside, intracellular is 61% inside cell and outside is 38.1. And that percent is also, this is not my copy. It is there done by others, and I've only put the percentage to show how beautiful it is, and it goes with the picture as such of Divyank alone. Now there comes the question of the body temperature to be maintained at 37 degrees or 98.5 degree Fahrenheit. Water plays very important role. When water decreases and water increases is what I have explained. This particular thing is the equilibrium of what body temperature. Now in this particular picture is very clear. More water you drink, there will be radiation, there will be evaporation, there will be convection, there will be conduction. As a result, body will become cool when you drink water and let it evaporate, and evaporation leading to cooling is something which science also talks about. I have also been talking about. That is the reason why it can reduce the body temperature step by step, one by one. Then comes to this particular temperature. When room temperature comes down, what happens when room temperature goes up? What happens is been beautifully shown here. This again centers on water, water and water alone. Now they come to the question of medical science. As I told you, dehydration, cause and treatment. You are not drinking enough water, so you need to increase water intake to make it perfect, from dehydration to rehydration. Excessive sweating, hot weather, exercises, and vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration, also lose a lot of weight and you go to dehydration. You need to correct it by fluid infusion only. Excessive fever, sweating, water intake. So diabetes also, you pass a lot of urine, you drink more water. You take alcohol, coffee and diuretic and other thing, you have the imbalance. Then everything, all things connect with water, water and water. Dehydration leads to aging process, and rehydration revival of aging process. Now there is one thing which I am talking about. Normal water content is 61%, and this is a picture which is taken from internet. Is also they talk about 30 years and talk about 70 weight. Then you have 41 liters. That means almost 60% is water content in that. But as you age, you say from 41 liters, you have become 35 liters in the same 70 years person of the same weight. But I am very clear to understand from my life that happens because water, people are eating, leading a sedentary life, and the content of fat acids or lipids or fat is increasing at the expense of water. Since fat has gone up, the water content will relatively come down. But when I see at myself, I have the same weight which I had at the age of 72, even 22, 21 years, what I have at 73. I have not allowed even 1 gram of extra fat to be added to my body till date. My dimensions are exactly the same. If I can do it, I am sure every adult can do it. And for that, maintaining this will be absolutely essential to remain agile and reverse the aging. At 73, all my biophysical parameters, physiological parameters and psychological parameters as good when I was 21, 22 years only. And I can assure you, water has a very important role in my life. I drink at least 4 to 5 liters every day at a regular interval in smaller quantities to see my body mechanism in a very dynamic form. Now, Anu Vidya, Rasayan Vidya is present in what are the different things which are important, which came from Sagar Manthan, have been spoken about. We are going to, first thing I am talking about is water. Second should be methane with Kamadhenu. And then other things I talk before I go on further how to expand. This is the beauty in this. And second thing is water element plays very important in Kapha dosha and different things. I am not going to detail of this. It is associated with it that Mulatara Swadhisthana, solid and water component are important for Kapha dosha. We will talk about it under Ayurvedic in much more detail. When come to this particular thing, everything is finally included into this, and once this is understood, everything is clearly. I am not going to details of this. I think we have already crossed 1 hour. I think enough for the day. more or less things which I want to share are there. If something more comes up, we will add up later as a new video when it comes to the higher form, other thing. So thank you very much, and it's a pleasure sharing all what I experienced from young child of 7 years to understand the Akate spirituality and science, and making Devyang and world as such for the world to have a perfect, impeccable wisdom for every person, by and large, for the world peace. Thank you very much.